This episode will focus on 5 things that you may consider before starting a PhD. The episode's guest speaker is Noora Almarri. She is an Emirati researcher currently completing her PhD within the Bioelectronics Research Group at University College London. And she is also a founding member of the UCL UAE Society. Welcome Noora to the PhD Live Talk series. Could you please tell us what is your PhD about?
Hello everyone, my name is Noora Almarri and I'm currently a third year PhD student at the University College London, and I'm pursuing my degree in electronic and electrical engineering and specifying in designing batteryless implantable medical devices.
Based on your experience, what are the 5 things that you wish you have learned before starting the PhD?
I just wanted to say that I started my PhD when I was only 21 years old. So when I first started, there were a lot of things that I didn't know. And one thing that I learned a lot from it was actually just going onto YouTube, watching as many videos as possible about different people's experiences, reading online, checking some feeds on Twitter and on Facebook, and just seeing how people are finding their PhD, what kind of tips they would want to give, and any useful information that could benefit me in the future. Honestly, there was a lot out there, and it was really great because people just wanted to share their experiences, but experiences were very different dependent on where you decide to pursue your PhD. I have friends who are doing their PhD in the US, where the degree requires a master's first, and after this 2 years of master's, then they continue with their PhD. And in the master or the MPhil or Masters of Philosophy years, it contains several classes that they require to attend, and once they pass, they're able to continue with their PhD. A few friends that I know continued their PhD in Germany, and the degree was very different. They usually work with companies, and they would have to do a work in their PhD that is related to a company's requirement, especially in engineering, which was very different from what I'm doing right now. So today I would like to share 5 tips that I wish I knew before I started my PhD. The first tip that I would share is choosing the right environment and also the right program for you. So there are, as I said earlier, many different programs with different styles. There is the MPhil/PhD where you start, which is basically the UK program, where the first year is a Masters of Philosophy, and then you'd have to do an upgrade exam to continue as a PhD student. And this, for me, this program is pretty great because after a year, if you realize the PhD is not right for you, you can still leave and still get a master's degree. The second thing would be, why are you choosing to do a PhD? Are you really passionate about the topic? Because with a PhD, there's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs, and sometimes it can be very hopeless. So when you're passionate about something, you're more likely to continue and be persistent, and you're going to try your best just to make sure that you're going to succeed in what you do, because even if it's difficult and quite challenging, you love the topic and you still want to do it, and you still want to excel in the subject. Also, going back to tip number 1, choosing the environment also depends on different factors. It could be choosing the right city, choosing the right university. For example, I'm currently at UCL, and UCL is pretty great in different majors, but one thing that they're focused at in different departments is that there is this focus on medical sciences. So even in electronics, we would have a section dedicated to medical electronics or implantable electronics. And the thing is, UCL in every different department is also still they still have a great focus on medical sciences, as I mentioned. In comparison to Imperial is focused more on AI and different topics. So the thing is, it's like when you choose the university, you need to check what is the university's research focus on. And you need to look at all of these different factors before making the choice. Because you can go into university, let's say I decided to go into UCL, not interested in, let's say, medical sciences, but let's say the majority of the departments are focused on medical science related research. It will be very difficult for me to sell my research topic. So it's very important to choose a university that is focused on my area of interest, not just, so as an electrical engineer, I can't go to UCL and say, well, UCL has an electrical engineering PhD program and I can just go and apply for that PhD and that's it. No, under the PhD, you can see there are different research groups, and in all of these groups, they are focused on specific projects, especially in sciences. They're focusing on specific projects and try to find a supervisor in one of these research groups that their interest aligns with yours, because it's really important that you share this similar interest with your supervisors in order to have a successful relationship. Tip number 3. Distractions are everywhere in a PhD. So it's like starting a degree with no curriculum, with no exams, and you basically have time. And you need to utilize this time to make the best out of it. So you get to choose how many hours you want to work and how much you want to produce out of your PhD. With a PhD, again, distractions are everywhere. There are different opportunities all around you that sometimes you would need to say no to, and some opportunities you would want to grasp, but at the same time, your focus needs to be completely on your PhD. So it's always important to communicate your interests, your goals, your career plans with your supervisor in order to make sure that you're going to utilize your time to the maximum and you're going to make the most of your time during your PhD. So a PhD is like driving in the fog, and the person sitting in the passenger seat is your supervisor, and both of you have no idea where the road is going to lead or where you're going to go, but you're just hoping to reach to a certain destination. So the thing is, you need to utilize the time, you need to make the most out of your time, and at the same time, you need to take rest when you need to. So it's always important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically and taking care of yourself mentally, because when you're in the right state of mind, you can achieve so much and you can do a lot. For the 4th tip, during your PhD, you're gonna come up with amazing ideas, and make sure that you don't waste those great ideas on weak journals, and try to aim for Q1 journals or peer-reviewed or flagship conferences, as they are well recognized and they can give you a higher H index, and they're so much better to publish in, because once you have to defend your thesis, and some of your chapters will be already published, the examiners will know that these chapters they've been through many reviewers before they've been published, so it makes your PhD much stronger. Even though they say publishing is not a requirement for getting your PhD, but it is this kind of thing that can make your defense so much easier. The last and most important tip is utilizing the opportunities that are around you. During your time as a PhD student, you'll be around so many different resources, including study spaces, different libraries, different museums within the university. So it's really good to check them out. There are also different social activities, leadership opportunities within the student union or within the university or within your department. So it's always important to utilize these opportunities and try to take these opportunities to learn so many skills. You can learn leadership skills that can be very useful after you finish your PhD, management skills, and and much more. The university also offers counseling and mental health support, so it's always important if you feel like you're struggling with either imposter syndrome, which is very, very, very common for most PhD students, is to go and utilize the opportunity to get the help that you need to stay strong within your PhD, and at the same time to make the most out of this time, because it's okay to not feel okay and it's okay to ask for help.